I believe that Austin Theory is a Seth Rollins plant put inside Vision to blow it up from the inside. That's my theory. I think he's doing the moves. He's talking about he has his own vision. He dressed up in the Shield pants.
Yeah.
Or some were saying Braun Strowman-like pants. But I think there's a lot of hints doing some of these moves. I think what we're going to find out in this long-term storytelling is that Austin Theory is actually working for Seth Rollins, and he's infiltrated the enemy, Trojan horse style, school wrestling, angle or storyline, and he's going to be wrecking things up for Seth Rollins when Seth Rollins comes back. It's a great day to be alive on the Dead Jeff Show, WWE edition. I think this is WWE episode number 5. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Jeff. He's Nick. That's the maestro, Luke. Yeah, you can't see him right now, or maybe you can. I'm not sure which one of us is on screen.
You can see me. I got my Dirty Dom fit on.
He's looking like Dirty Dom. All right. Too bad he doesn't have Rhea, right?
Yeah.
Well, I guess Gentry.
Well, he doesn't either.
Yeah, that's true. He doesn't have Rhea. All right, listen, thank you for joining in. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and share and comment on WWE videos that we have and all of our videos. Now, listen, we're going to get into the SmackDown recap and the Raw, pre-recorded Raw recap and the Cena interview and a few other hot topics today. But I want to start with the rich tradition of wrestling and Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Now, listen, Nick, you're a little bit, and Luke, you guys are younger folk. Do you have any strong ties with Christmas and wrestling, or is that just my generation?
Austin to Santa, baby.
Yeah, Austin and Santa. Yeah, WWE usually does the tribute to the troop deal, but there have been some around Christmas episodes, and Austin stunning Santa Claus. That was funny.
Yeah,
and then he also dressed up as Santa Claus, right? And stunned Vince McMahon.
That's what I was thinking about when he dressed up as Santa. That's my all-time man. Christmas stuff. Whenever there was like a 5-year stretch there, where any Christmas or anytime I saw Santa at a mall, the first thing I think of was Austin stunning, or Austin dressing up. You got me all confused. Austin dressing up as Santa. That was core memory stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of people that have wrestled Santa Claus, and we'll get to that in a minute. But for me, it started young, man, as a young kid, and this was before Nick and Luke were born. But World Class Championship Wrestling always held a card on Christmas night called Star Wars, ironically. And I think that went from like 82 to 84, honestly. I don't think they did it after that. But, man, the cage shot heard round the world was on Christmas, where the Freebird Von Erich feud started, right? And I'm wearing the Von Erich Nation T-shirt, pledging my allegiance to the Von Erichs. But yeah, when Terry Gordy slammed that cage on Kerry Von Erich when he was wrestling Ric Flair with Michael Hayes as a special guest referee, that's a Christmas memory I'll never forget. Another WCCW memory was when Michael Hayes lost a loser leaves town match, and then fast forward to Christmas Star Wars, and he's dressed as Santa, and he beats up Mike Von Erich. That was a classic one. So yeah, it starts, with me, and I was fortunate enough to go to one of these Star Wars shows on Christmas. I think it was 83, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 84, the last one. But yeah, it's been a rich tradition for me and my family. At least it was for me growing up, not necessarily my immediate family now. But man, there's been a lot of Santa Claus and wrestling talk. I think. Do you remember anybody else wrestling Santa Claus in your era, Nick?
I pulled up some iconic holiday moments. If you want me to go through those,
well, I've got a few here.
The other one that I remember, just because I thought it was so bad, was and I'm not remembering who did. Someone ran over Santa. I think it was Alberto Del Rio. Ran over
Alberto Del Rio.
He ran over Santa.
Alberto Del Rio.
2012.
Yeah, so bad.
Yeah, so
so bad.
A couple from my memory is before that. I remember before Glenn Jacobs was Kane.
Yeah.
He had a gimmick he had a gimmick called the Christmas creature.
Oh, I don't.
He was literally dressed up as Christmas, Christmas
Oh, I
decorations.
don't know
and
this one.
That was his gimmick.
That was a year-round gimmick?
No, yeah, that was his gimmick. I
What
don't know how
the-
long that lasted, to be honest with you, but it was really bad.
Well,
I do
hopefully it didn't
remember
last
Kurt
long.
Angle wrestling Santa Claus and putting him in the ankle lock and beating him. That's before, him wrestling Santa Claus. They're trying to make us think it's the real Santa Claus. Makes me think of, you remember when Vince McMahon wrestled God?
God.
Or
Oh,
challenged
yeah.
God to a
Oh,
wrestling
yeah.
What?
Oh, you don't remember? You don't know this?
That was the
Oh, yeah.
that was the goofiest thing
No.
ever.
Yeah.
I was too young, probably.
It was when you remember
Was
when
I born?
Shawn Michaels came back
Right.
and he was professing to be a born again Christian.
Right.
And so Vince had this idea that he was going to wrestle God. I guess that's Christmas related,
I
huh?
mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
With
had to-
Jesus.
That's like The Office when Michael Scott dressed up as Jesus because he couldn't be the Office Santa.
Now that was funny.
And he starts heckling Phyllis.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was funny.
They had the spotlight on the holy water, and then he tries to do Triple H's thing with the holy water, and he's like, "Man, how does that guy do that?" And he's all confused about how to spit the water out. It was a whole thing, man. That was pretty wild.
Yeah, that was blasphemous.
Yeah, that was pretty wild.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I like that one or not. But I remember when Santa won the 24/7 championship. Do you remember that?
I remember that.
That was funny.
Yeah, I remember that one.
A few others here. Remember when John Cena saved Christmas? Him and Trish.
Yeah, Trish Stratus. Yeah.
Santina Morella came out and was going to tell the kids the truth about Santa Claus.
Santina.
Yeah.
Was that?
Yeah, when he was dressed up.
Was that Khali? There was someone else with him in that segment. I remember that. There was a big
Santino and who was it?
Was it Mark Henry or?
Oh, Beth Phoenix. Beth Phoenix. Yeah. It was Beth Phoenix and Santino Morella, and they were going to go tell all the kids that Santa Claus wasn't real. And of course, John Cena and Trish Stratus come to the rescue and save Christmas.
Well, if you're talking about Santino, then it was John Cena that showed up. But yeah,
John Cena.
Yeah,
John Cena.
Other promotions have done a lot of Christmas shows. You guys mentioned Alberto Del Rio running over Santa.
There's a Roddy Piper defends Santa.
Oh, that was like a Christmas Carol thing, wasn't it, with Roddy Piper?
I don't know. It's on the iconic holiday moments.
Oh,
but this was in '89, so I don't really remember this.
Yeah,
at
we'll
all.
get your list in a minute. Let me go through mine here. I've got Mark Henry was Good Santa versus Damien Sandow as Bad Santa.
I don't remember that one.
And they had a wrestling match dressed in Santa suits. Let's see here.
Why don't they get this creative now? Like, I mean, I'm sure we'll get into that later, but
it's a little hokey, right? So
yeah, but it's
WWE's moved away from cheesy and hokey somewhat. So I imagine that, putting Santa in every now and then is pretty funny, just to be honest with you.
But look, these iconic moments and stuff.
Yeah, but none of them have
hokey,
happened
but
recently,
it's
right?
Awesome.
No.
So not too recently. Let me see here. I lost my place here. Mick Foley wrestled Santa Claus. Remember that?
Oh, it was like the backstage or
was
something, right? It wasn't in the ring.
Yeah, that was awesome. I remember listening to Mick Foley talk about that on his podcast.
Yeah, that was.
And let's see. The only other one I have was Roddy Piper's Christmas Carol.
Oh, we had the was like the 12 Days of the Rock or 12 Days of Chris.
Oh yeah,
that was really good.
Yeah,
it's all coming back to me now.
The Rock's 12 Days
yeah.
of Christmas. Yeah, that was funny. And then we talked about Stone Cold stunning Vince as Santa, dressed up as Santa. That was on Tribute to the Troops in 2003.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and The Rock's 12 Days of Christmas. That was hilarious. I do remember that.
Yeah, that was great.
So lots of Christmas memories. Luke, what other memories are you have on iconic moments that we haven't mentioned with the wrestling and Christmas?
The one that sticks out to me in this, let me see. The one that sticks out to me that we haven't mentioned is the eggnog match in 2001.
The eggnog match. Who's in the eggnog match?
Y'all want to guess or?
It's got to be women, right?
No, it is. It's two women.
And it's like a mud wrestling match, but it's eggnog.
I'm assuming. I don't know. I don't remember this.
Oh, 2001.
I was too young.
Stacy Keibler?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yep, that's one.
Stacy Keibler.
Trish Stratus?
Tori Wilson?
Yep. Yeah.
Tori Wilson,
Dad got
Stacy
it.
Keibler. I know my mud matches.
He just watched it the other day.
Listen, Stacy Keibler was an all-time great.
Yeah.
And I heard Tori Wilson recently describing those old diva matches, the brawl and panty matches, and how terrified she was. But yeah, I'm glad we've moved on from that era. But
Little
yeah,
different.
Stacy Keibler was an all-timer
Yeah.
for me. But I'm a leg man, so that stands to reason, right? But what other ones? Any other ones stand out? Christmas and wrestling?
Yeah, they have like Miracle on 34th Street fight, but that looks like it's like a recurring. They have
Oh yeah, that's why I had a Christmas Chaos match.
Randy
I remember
Orton versus David Otunga in 11, Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt in 2014. That's just like, it says that the weapons are,
yeah,
the kendo stick is like
Christmas
candy
related.
cane or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
And what was the Christmas Chaos match? I do remember that. I think that was in TNA or one of the other organizations, and maybe WWE copied it. But there was a Christmas Chaos match, and I'm not sure exactly what it was. But maybe we'll find that. But lots of memories with wrestling. Lots of tie together with wrestling and Christmas. And Santa usually takes a beating on Christmas. But every now and then he gets a good lick in for a wrestling move. And wrestlers like to disguise themselves as Santa, but iconic moments for sure. But tell us what your favorite wrestling and Christmas memory together is. Not your favorite Christmas memory, but the wrestling Christmas wrestling memory. All right, look, since we last talked to you, we've had a couple shows. We've had SmackDown, we've had the pre-recorded Raw, and we've had, I think AAA had a show. We'll get to a little bit of that news. And then the John Cena Cody interview, and we'll get to that in a little bit, right? First of all, I just want to go through the recap for SmackDown, right? And I will just do this briefly because you guys probably have watched the show by now and understand what's happened. We're just doing this to kind of comment on current storylines and feuds. So obviously the show starts off with a Saturday Night Main Event recap. We get an update on Cody versus Drew, or a highlight package. They kind of further the Priest and Black feud at the beginning of this. They have an altercation. We got Nia and Lash taking on the Kabuki Warriors. After that match, Charlotte and Alexa hit the ring and take it to Nia and Lash. I didn't write down who won that match. That's how dialed in I was to this match.
Which one?
The Nia and Lash versus the Kabuki Warriors for SmackDown.
I think the Kabuki Warriors lost, I think.
Yeah, I think so. And then Charlotte and Alexa came out and got into it with Nia and Lash.
I can confirm it.
Shame on me for not writing down the winner.
Well,
stay tuned for that.
I don't blame you.
It was 12 minutes of wrestling. That's what I wrote down.
Yeah, 12 minutes of hugging.
Yeah,
and that's with the attack.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, yeah, I don't want to jump to Raw, but I know the Raw result. I remember the Raw result for the Kabuki Warriors, but I don't remember the.
Well, Maestro will get it for us as we can continue on here. Next was an interview with Julia about Chelsea and the women's U.S. title. You know, I'm not sure how you. I love Chelsea, but I'm not sure how you feel about Julia and her sidekick. But you know, everything Chelsea does, I'm a fan of, and so she can. It looks like they're trying to get Julia over with us, and you know, maybe they need to put Julia with the Kabuki Warriors. That might be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, something different than what she's currently doing, because what she's currently doing ain't gonna work. I do love Chelsea though. Anything Chelsea's involved in, I love. So anytime she's on my screen, I dial in completely. I even went back after this segment. I went back and watched some of her old interviews just to kind of see what else she had been through. Found out some stuff about Chelsea Green. I had no idea. I'm sure a lot of people know. A lot of people are way more into the indies and watch that stuff and follow it. You know, and not hating on it by any stretch. I wish I had more time to follow it closer at that level. But I went back and watched a match she had with Penta that was awesome. So I love Chelsea Green. I think she's amazing. I think we've talked about this before. She's in the wrong era. She's a perfect diva. She's a perfect attitude era diva. But she makes it work, man. She
can wrestle too.
Oh yeah, she can go. She can go, and then she makes it work for sure.
Nia Jax and Lash Legend defeated the Kabuki Warriors.
Thank you for that update, and shame on me again for not writing that down. But I mean, it seems like every week we get one of these matches with the Kabuki Warriors and somebody, and it's interference or it's an attack or it's. What I do remember is that they're really pushing Lash as a powerhouse. But you know, I'm just not a fan of Nia Jax. I think that she may have run her course a little bit. She needs something else. Pairing her with Lash, probably inevitable. turn on Nia at some point, or Nia on Lash. Okay, then we get to a little bit of some good stuff here. We got the Cody and Drew update. Aldis is interviewing Drew at his house. He talks about reinstating Drew, says he'll give Drew a title shot if he apologizes and pays a huge fine. Drew says, oh, that's a great offer, but no, I do not accept. Says it's unsafe to work there, and this is what Cody wants, and he's going to just get screwed again if he agrees to Aldis's demands. Drew says he wants a match, he wants to pick the stipulation, and he doesn't want Cody to be able to touch him before that match starts or happens. Yeah. And if he does, Cody gets stripped of the title. Aldis, for some strange reason, feels like he's backed in a corner and agrees. That's the only part of this that I'm not sure why he has to agree to that, but he does. He agrees. Drew gets an alert on his security camera that shows Cody's at his house. We've seen this before a time or two with AJ and Edge, wasn't it?
No, it was LA Knight.
Yeah, well, we've seen it many times.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I know Edge had this at one time. We've seen this played out before, but this was done pretty well, I thought. So he gets the alert. He accuses Aldis of setting him up. It's kind of like on Star Wars when Obi-Wan stows away on the ship in Revenge of the Sith, and then Anakin thinks that Padme is turned on him, right?
Oh,
similar thing.
Yeah, I got you.
Here with Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis is Padme, I guess.
He's pregnant?
No, he's not pregnant.
He has twins?
No, it's just the tie. It just reminds me of that. Okay,
I'm kidding.
So obviously they get into a big fight. Couple of highlights from the fight is that Cody throws a cop into the pond. Thought that was a nice touch. Drew tackles Cody into a giant nutcracker, which I also found amusing. And then they're pulled apart, and Cody says, Drew asked for this, and Merry Christmas, a-hole. That's what Cody said. Little bit cheesy, but all good sports entertainment here. So after that little vignette plays, we go backstage with Aldis, and he's interrupted by The Miz, who wants a match with, don't say his name, Joe Hendry. And we have a comedy routine with R-Truth and The Miz and Aldis, right? So I like this skit with Drew and Cody. I know it's been done before. I think the alert on the security camera is funny. The accusing Aldis of setting him up and all the Christmas decorations involved, I thought that was amusing to me.
Yeah, I think for me it always anytime we get these, and I say recycled storylines, I mean it's these are okay. They don't do them all the time. Hard for me not to go back to Austin and Pillman. That's the kind of, I'm sure it was done even before then, but that was my first invasion angle type thing, home invasion type angle. And that one was legit with Pillman and the gun and the whole, like that one was, out there. But this one was good. I like this one. I do, the whole, the Cody kind of cheesy one-liners are starting to kind of be, they're creeping up a little bit. Starting to get, we're trying to get something to catch. I think we're just looking for the one to catch. But yeah, it's good. I agree with you on this from the story standpoint. Now I think they were trying to play up the whole hostile work environment, and that's why all this felt like he was back into a corner. They did not do a good enough job selling that. It didn't come across that way. I mean, I think in hindsight, I was like, okay, I see what they were trying to do. Just needed to get there a little bit further, try it a little bit longer to set that point. But I love the no contact thing. Anytime we've ever had the no contact thing in the WWE, there's hopefully they play it up right. There's always so many fun things you can do with that. My favorite one of those is whenever Jericho or maybe Triple H, I forget who, but doesn't no contact with Austin, and as like a celebratory thing, he pats him on the back, and once he touches him, now all bets are off. Now Austin can do whatever he wants. And so the crowd pop when Austin's drinking his beer and he realizes, oh man, he just touched me. It's just those little things. It's the hook, and I think there's some potential here for that. I hope they kind of really dive into the no contact thing before that match.
Yeah, and I like in the past they had the guy who shows up at someone's house arrested, or the cops show up and arrest him. They had the cops show up here, but Cody throwing him in the pond is hilarious. But they don't arrest him for some. I guess Aldis smooths it over with the cops, and Drew's not pressing charges. I mean, that doesn't make a lot of sense. But we got to suspend disbelief and move through this. But entertaining nonetheless, right? And I'm all for Drew and Cody And later we'll get to Cody's promo on Drew, and then maybe a couple things about that I think are hints about what's to come for Cody. So after the R-Truth comedy skit, we get Julia versus Alba Fire. Julia wins. It's a 5-minute match. Ho hum. Nothing really to say about that. They're really promoting Julia at this point. And I don't have anything against Julia, but it's kind of just, like I said, redundant, right? We got a Howdy pre-recorded promo. I guess they learned from last promo. His promo in the ring was so terrible, they said, we're going to go back to pre-recorded promos. So they put him back on a pre-recorded promo, and this one was pretty decent. Much better than his live promo. Any thoughts on that?
I mean, the gimmick itself, the Wyatt Six and Howdy and just the whole thing, I find myself attracted to it, and it may be just nostalgia for Bray. I couldn't tell you why. But man, even the pre-recorded promo is better, but it's just not great. And again, that's from someone that actually likes the gimmick. So I don't know.
Well, and they're trying to make us care about this because, Solo's been invoking the name Bray Wyatt, kind of dissing the family, that kind of stuff. And, we'll see where it goes. But they haven't got me to really care about it yet. There is just a nostalgia feel with Bray and honoring his legacy, which I really like. But anyway, as we move on, we go to the Cody's promo. He goes to the ring. He cuts a promo. He jokes about the unsafe work environment and how Drew is soft. He's interrupted by Aldis, saying Cody doesn't get the gravity of the situation. And by going to Drew's house, he's only making Drew's point for him. Now it's a real hostile situation. That because of all this, Aldis has to make a bad deal with Drew to get him back. And so they try to cover for, hey, now I've got to make a bad deal because you keep doing dumb things, Cody. Cody's making Aldis look like a liar, and Cody should have trusted Aldis to take care of it. That's what Aldis says. If Drew comes back, Cody can't touch him until the match. And Cody says, or what? And Nick says, I'll have to strip you of your title. Cody says, okay, I won't touch him. He says Nick has forgotten who he's talking to. Cody's QB1. He's the champ. He is the law. More cheesy lines from Cody. And he doesn't work for Aldis. He works for WWE Universe, the fans. And this little tidbit, which is probably a hint of what's to come for Cody, is he's reminding Aldis that you work for me, Aldis. That's what Cody said to Nick Aldis. Kind of a heelish promo towards the end. What say you guys?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's we've had little subtle hints, I think, throughout this entire Drew thing. It's almost the either you die a hero or you live long enough to become a villain kind of thing, where they're just kind of naturally transitioning both. But I think, we had talked a while ago. I said if we get Rhodes again, it would be awesome if Rhodes was the heel. I think Drew is the perfect guy to allow him to transition into that, to set up the road for Renan. I'm going down the road, getting too far ahead of myself here. But I agree with you. It was definitely a heelish promo, definitely some heelish tendencies that have been going on. Even Drew, kind of the exposition of, you cheer this man and hear all the things he's doing. Like what more do y'all have to see before you see what I see, sort of thing. And Drew is right the whole time, sort of thing coming. So I actually love it. I think this is great, because if nothing else, you don't really know where they're going to go here. They could stand pat and not go anywhere, but it's forcing you to think, if nothing else.
Well, and I think that might take it a different way with the heel turn. They're having Drew break Cody, like break him. He's suddenly doing things he never thought he would be doing, right? Drew's got him so frustrated. He's got him out of his mind. He's off his game, and so he kind of turns to his dark side, if you will.
He's a symbiote suit Spider-Man.
That's right.
Spider-Man 3. He's Bully Parker.
And Drew is the symbiote. Right? He's the one causing this because he's in Cody's head. He's messing with him. And I think that if they really play up the psychology that Drew is breaking down Cody, I think I'd be a little bit more of a psychological heel turn would be awesome. Yep. I know they're trying to do this with Black and Priest, where Black is trying to convert Priest, for lack of a better word. I don't know what's happening there, but in this situation, I think that we would all lean into a little Cody heel turn. The problem is, who's going to be the top babyface and carry the mantra, the day in, day out stuff with WWE? That makes me think maybe they won't do it because Roman's part-time.
Yeah.
He's not here full-time. And I don't think they have a face. Maybe CM Punk. I don't know if he can do what Cody does,
No.
right? Full-time. So I don't know. I want to see this edge to Cody. We got to drop some of these cheesy lines, because right now they're playing, hey, which Cody are we going to get? He comes out and he's the good Cody, and then he starts turning and gets angry and all that stuff. And I'm kind of liking this psychological aspect of this, and we'll see where they take it. Hope they don't disappoint us and just not do anything. So,
have they ever made a like a heel turn where it's two I guess bad guy? It's kind of like a Deadpool situation where it's like he's not a good guy, but he's not
yeah,
a
Steve
bad
Austin
guy.
was a lovable heel, right?
Yeah.
Stone
Okay.
Cold, people, he was trying to be a heel, but people loved it,
Okay.
right? So you have that little bit of
I think they
Deadpool.
should try that, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know if Cody can get that edge. He's so straight-laced, and
Yeah.
if you listen to him and John Cena will get in the interview, it's like two aristocrats talking over haberdasheries. And
That's what people in the comments were
that's
saying. They're like,
hilarious.
this is going to sound like two politicians, and it
And-
literally did.
And we'll get there in a minute, but we move on to Dragunov and Hayes backstage about last week's match with DIY. They're interrupted by Fraxium, a little bit of la la la, blah blah blah. And then we got DIY versus Hayes and Dragunov, right? Hayes and Dragunov win with Hayes hitting the nothing but net on Ciampa, and that was 10-minute match there. Okay. We go backstage again, Flair and Bliss. Jackie wants to comment on why they attacked Nia and Lash. They said they're waiting for whoever wins the tag titles and wanted to remind them that we're here waiting. And then Jade Cargill appears again and looks at Flair, and Flair and Bliss walk away. Jade then talks about her attack on Mishin, and then Mishin attacks Jade with a kendo stick, and then they're separated. I guess that's okay there. Nothing big, nothing awesome, but nothing, it was okay. All right, so we get a Solo promo walking backstage, the camera's on him, he's walking, and it's a nice promo, and he ends it with he's got the whole world in his hands now, which is some more Bray Wyatt antagonistic talk, trying to really fire up Uncle Howdy and trying to get us to care about, hey, we got to protect Bray Wyatt's legacy here. Not bad here. Again, I'm just waiting to care more about this Solo and the MFTs versus Wyatt 6, which on paper looks like it should be amazing, but I just feel like it's missing something for me.
Do you like that name, the MFTs?
It's my family tree. That's what.
But do you like it being them just saying MFTs?
I mean, it is what it is. What else are they going to call them?
They need something else.
They can't call them the Bloodline 2.0. That wouldn't work. So,
but it sounds like like the digital, like the kind of like the currency or whatever.
Oh, the NFTs.
Yeah, but that's what I think of, and it's just like it's weird. It doesn't give me.
Well,
MFTs.
This promo leads us into the main event, which is the MFTs versus the Wyatt 6, and a brawl ensues. So there's a DQ. And we get the big man on big man. We get Howdy on Solo. We get another brawl.
Pause.
After. What's happening? Nick.
No, you're good.
What's happening?
I was making a joke.
What are you saying?
Nothing.
What's funny?
Just go.
No, what are you saying? What?
I think he was saying about the segment, like pausing the segment, like part of what the.
No, that's.
What are you saying?
No,
dude?
that's y'all are too old, I guess.
Oh, I don't get it.
You're gonna have to
saying
cut that,
pause is a joke. It's like pause, like you said. It's like being sus or something. You know what I'm saying?
You're gonna have to cut that because that didn't go over at all. All right.
Yeah, I thought
horrible.
Nick would at least get it.
Nobody gets that. That's terrible. When you say we just had a technical issue and then you're yelling pause. That's an ill-timed joke,
pause.
man.
I yelled pause after you said big man on big man. So I said pause. Nick gets it now. Thank you.
I get it now.
See, it is funny.
No,
it was a
but
good
what
joke.
the audience doesn't get is
No.
we just had a technical issue,
Well, they won't know
and
that.
you're telling us to pause.
They
And
They
it
won't
said
know
your
that. They're
recording's
gonna know that
paused.
now because
Yeah.
you're saying
I know,
that.
but that's why it threw me off.
get
No,
They
it
gotta
threw
know
you off
that.
because you didn't know what I was saying.
didn't know what you were
'cause you don't
saying.
get
Now
it.
I get it. Now that
No,
was
I
that
thought you were telling us to pause the
Yeah.
recording again.
Yeah.
because
I
you
know
just
what
did.
you thought because you didn't catch it. It's a joke.
I know. So but you always making those kind of jokes. So you
Bro,
need to,
you be making those jokes all the time.
and listen, it was what I'm talking about was I said big man on big man.
I know, pause.
Golly, man. Who invited this guy to the show? Anyway, it's a brawl. It's a DQ. It's 10 minutes of wrestling in this match. We got 38 minutes of total wrestling in a 2-hour show. And I bring that up because it's so many backstage segments.
Yeah.
So much walking around backstage. I think we need to get a little bit more balanced here. Hopefully they get that feedback. All in all, your thoughts on SmackDown?
C+, B-. I mean, it's, I think just like
Yeah.
we've kind of been saying, Cody and Drew are definitely carrying this. Now, I will say the Hayes and Dragunov stuff, just because of how much, like how good of work they have in the ring, I find myself looking forward to their matches. And to your point, I think when you have as little wrestling as we're having on these shows, it's easier to want to lean into those things, right? Like I think we had 4 actual finishes on this,
Well, one was a DQ,
that's what
right?
yeah, like
and we had Flair or DIY and Dragunov.
mhm.
That was a win. We had Julia versus Alba Fire in 5 minutes squash. We had Nia and Lash beat the Kabuki Warriors. And we had that's it, right?
Yeah, so it's 5 matches
Yeah.
in a squash and a DQ in those 5. So you had 3 actual 1, 2, 3s. The squash being what it is.
4 matches. 4 matches.
Yeah, so I mean it's just
4.
so like I said, if you get good wrestling here, like it makes it a little bit
Make you appreciate it. Yeah.
easier, better.
Valuable.
Yeah,
More valuable.
for sure. So that would be the only thing I would say. That's the big takeaway is Drew and Cody carrying, and the lack of really good in-ring performances carrying us from segment to segment. It's just like shenanigans to shenanigans over and over and over. It's a little much.
Yeah, I would give it an F.
Yeah, I'm
It was
not that
boring.
difficult. I think it was a C.
And
C+.
Cody Rhodes, like you said, yeah, they're carrying, but they still give Cody Rhodes the cheesy one-liners and stuff. So it's like he's carrying because all the other stuff is just
So bad.
boring.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, there's some interesting things happening. It's just what are we taking? They're stalling
Right.
out a little bit with.
Right.
They're trying to build Nia and Lash and the women's tag team division.
It's like busy work.
And we had two of the 4 matches were women's matches. One was a squash match, like you said. So like I would agree with probably a C+. Just because I was entertained by the Drew and Cody stuff.
Yeah.
Primarily. So we move on to Monday Night Raw. This was a pre-recorded Raw. They double taped last week and played it this week to give the superstars this week off for Christmas, which was very nice of them.
Yep.
Starts off backstage with Vision. Paul Heyman sends Bronson away and Bron Breakker away, and then runs into Theory. Theory talks to Heyman about why he wore a mask, saying he wanted you to see his actions before you saw his face. Says he admires Paul Heyman for taking what he wants, and that's what he's going to do now. He's gonna be a taker, take what he wants. Not terrible from Theory here, but a little bit of a stretch to go. That's why you wore a mask, I guess. But what did you make of this promo? Anything exciting for you?
Not really. I mean, honestly, it's not bad. I don't remember Austin. I never remembered thinking like, oh man, Austin can't talk on the mic at all. So like, I don't think that's ever, not that he cuts amazing promos, but he's never been bad on the mic. For whatever reason, and I don't know like why this is what was going on in my head, but as he was giving his explanation, I was like, so you took the concept from The Voice and basically brought it into wrestling. Like, I don't understand. Like you want me to see the talent before I judge you based on how you look? Like, I get it, I guess. I think just like, I said before, there's so much work to do because the reveal was always not going to live up to it. How could it?
Yeah.
And this is kind of what my fear was, right? Like you're now having to, even if this was the plan the whole time, it sucks for Theory. Like you're putting him into a very, very difficult position to be successful. And depending on where this goes, which I guess there's always a way that there's a path forward where this could be great. Right now, I'm like, man, you are stumbling out of the starting blocks here. This does not feel good for Theory. Not bad. It just doesn't feel like.
Well, and I think no. Go ahead.
It just doesn't feel like we're if the goal here is where you're positioning him to create another main eventer, to create at least a guy that can hang up there a little bit or elevate Theory from the mid card where he's always been. It seems to be a difficult path from where we're at right now.
Well, I'm going to get into my theory later, but I don't want to give it away just yet, and don't you give it away just yet.
Yeah.
But I think what they're trying to say here is, hey, I made some mistakes. I've been judged. People have this predetermined judgment of who I am, expectation of who I am, and I wanted to show them I'm different before they see my face. Okay, I can buy into that a little bit, right? He knows he was clowned a little bit with Vince, with Waller, the selfie deal,
Mm-hmm.
which I didn't think was that bad, honestly.
No.
Just to be honest with you, the Vince stuff I could live without, but the Grayson Waller deal I didn't get. But anyway, so I think I get what they're laying the foundation for, and we'll get into that later with the theory that I have. And I'm probably not alone in that theory, but it's I thought about this watching Raw. Okay, we got Rhea and Io highlights from last week, followed by them talking backstage. I guess nobody talks in the dressing room that much. They were all walking backstage in random areas again. Rhea tells Io, hey, you stay back here because you're injured, your back's hurt, you're not healthy. I'll take care of this tonight on my own. She heads to the ring for her match with Asuka. So we got Rhea Ripley versus Asuka, right? And something the announcer said, which is sort of foreshadowing here, which is I don't hate that they did this because right when they said this, then I knew Asuka was going to win. They said Asuka's never beaten Rhea. She's like 0 for 7 or 0 for 8 against Rhea. We know Rhea's had a nose issue. She actually bleeds from the nose in this match, but I think, like the Maestro said, it looks like maybe it was just her nose ring, not anything substantial with her nose.
Yeah.
Obviously, Sane is interfering in the match. Io comes out anyway. She's limping. She's hurt. Her and Sane get into it. Rhea's distracted. Asuka rolls Rhea up for the 1, 2, 3. And now Asuka has beaten Rhea. Little bit of, like I said, foreshadowing and sort of giving away the ending here by the announcers. But all in all, this was a good match. And anytime Rhea's in the ring with Asuka, I'm in for that.
Yeah, no issue there. My problem with this is if you're gonna build up Asuka's first win over Rhea, like it would have been nice to have it prior to as the bell was ringing for the match. I think it maybe does just a little less for Asuka. And again, I don't know that when you get these two together that either of them need to be pushed, so to speak. Again, the shenanigans here with Kairi Kairi Sane and Kairi Sane and Io Sky. It still feels like the same thing week over week over week with the women. It's
it is.
Yeah, and it's so I'm just like I can only keep saying like it's a transition period as we get into Rumble and Mania season for so long, man. Like this has to go somewhere eventually. We're hurting everybody now. Like nobody is benefiting from this at all.
Yeah, and the weird thing is if we just went through SmackDown, and I forgot to mention this, they had the Kabuki Warriors more like faces on SmackDown against Nia and Lash.
Right.
And the crowd was cheering for them. And then you have Charlotte and Bliss come out. It's like they're almost like they got their back. And then they're right back to heels here.
Yep.
With heel tendencies. So it's a little bit of confusion. Maybe they don't know where they're going to go with it. So, but I agree, it's redundant at this point.
Yeah.
They need to get Rhea back in the world title picture and fast.
Sure.
From me.
Yep.
We get another Vision backstage powwow, and Bronson asks Paul about Theory, like, "Hey, what's going on with this? What do you think? What's up?" Paul asks, "Where were you guys a year ago? Don't forget where you come from." Basically, what he's saying to Vision, look how much you've progressed in a year. Paul said he had a vision for them, and now he has a vision for Theory too. Either Theory helps them out and does the work of Vision, or they carry Theory out of the WWE for good. That's what Paul says. I thought that was a pretty good interaction with Vision. Trying to remind these guys, hey, don't forget where you came from. You just a year ago, you guys were kind of where Theory is, basically, is what they're saying. Anything here you want to point out?
No, I mean I think you covered it. I think the Paul Heyman Pied Piper of all of this is fine. I mean he's built up the credibility. There is no issue with me with him pulling the strings of how this is going and kind of who goes where and setting up all this, just all this exposition, if you will, of this entire kind of group. I do feel like at some point this kind of reminds me a little bit of Austin McMahon, where like eventually you can't have the focal point be somebody that won't ever get in the ring. And it's, although Bron Breakker is clearly going to be the breakout here, we've talked about his promos and we've talked about his ability to talk. Like at some point, Paul Heyman is going to hurt Braun's ascension because of it. Just highlights Braun's deficiencies so much more. That's the only kind of takeaway I thought. It's like I love Paul Heyman and everything that he stands for. You know, he's great everywhere, but him next to a guy that he very obviously doesn't overshadow, Reigns, Lesnar, Rollins, fine, because Heyman's never going to be the bigger name in that scenario. I don't feel like right now Bron Breakker is the bigger name than Paul Heyman, and so it's okay for now. I just think eventually, and I'm sure they will, but we're gonna have to get off of this because he's gonna hurt more than he's gonna help, I think.
Well, you also have the fact that it looks like usually when you put somebody in a stable or with a manager, it's because they're not good on the mic, right? And it looks like they're trying to see how good he can be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's this weird pairing of, hey, I got you with the best manager in WWE today because he can talk for you, but now it's this wrestling match of who's going to say what. And I'm just not a big Bron Breakker guy at this point. I just don't. I'm not buying into it. I would rather have them be pushing Logan Paul with this push.
Yep.
And again, he was absent. No mention of where he was. I guess we know where he was over there nursing Jake Paul from his facial fractures.
Yep.
But my point is, I don't like this push for Bron Breakker. I'm not a huge fan of the character. I wish they'd make him a Steiner, honestly, and lean more into that. But again, for me, I agree. I think that there's obviously some things going to happen with Vision. We'll get into that in my theory in just a minute. But I think that I would be pushing Logan Paul here instead of Bron Breakker. Just my 2 cents. But it's this guy does have me thinking back to remember when Vince bought WCW and the whole thing was he's never going to let a WCW guy look better than his own guys that they made, right?
Right.
And so maybe there's a thing here that Braun's one of their guys and Logan's an outsider. Maybe that's why they chose Bron. I don't know. I hear a lot less dog, wolfing in the crowd these days. So, and that's maybe what they want, right? They want to silence those cheers and get them heelish.
Yep.
But I agree with you.
Yeah, I do not like the meathead characters. Like, bro, come on, like just angry, like all the time. Like,
well, it's a little Ryback, right? It's a little Scott Steiner.
It's like it makes it more obvious that you're not, great on the mic because you have to just yell all the time.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's why they're giving him these promos to deliver because so he can break away from that stereotype. It's just not working for me, especially it's like Goldberg, Ryback, Scott Steiner, all rolled in one to me.
Yeah.
We get Gunther recap highlights. They're hyping his promo later. He's going to be there. And then also hyping his match, hyping the match with, not his match, but CM Punk and Rey Mysterio versus Theory and Bronson Reed. Okay, a highlight of the night for me is Becky Lynch comes out.
Right? Oh, yeah.
Cuts a promo. She's just really disrespecting Maxine Dupree, says she got lucky. She's the real IC champ. Becky is. Says she's got her lawyers ready, and she went to Netflix bigwigs. It's just really good stuff. Crowd is just giving it to her, man. And she says she's the greatest women's wrestler of all time, and obviously not just her. She says that Sports Illustrated, all these magazines, all these reputable sources say she's the greatest. And here comes Dupree interrupting. Dupree, she's got this new aggressive attitude working with Natalya we talked about last week, says she's a rookie, but she still beat the greatest of all time 3 times. So she says she's given Lynch a shot anytime or anywhere. She says Lynch complains a lot, and that doesn't make her look like the greatest of all time, but looks like someone whose best days are behind her. I thought that was a really good line.
Good line.
Lynch obviously attacks her and beats her up until Dupree gets the upper hand and puts on the ankle lock. The funniest thing about this was her tweet or post after the match, Becky's post calling for Adam Pearce's job because he didn't control Maxine Dupree. And I just really like what they're doing with Becky here, and I think she's underrated at this point with this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, God, it's so tough to say that she's underrated just because it's so good. And this is the thing that all the greats do. She's elevating everyone she interacts with. Maxine Dupree looks so much better as a result of what Becky Lynch is doing. Like, Dupree is coming off so incredibly well here. A couple of great lines. You've got to. There's always that thing about competition and forcing it to raise the level of the people around you. And I think Becky is very careful to make sure that she's doing the things that she has to do to be great, but she's giving room for Dupree to come along with her, as opposed to just hitting her with the golden shovel, as others have been accused of, Cena and Triple H and a few others, to name a few.
Charlotte,
yeah. So I feel like Becky is not only elevated her own place to, again, hard to say underrated, because who's better? Really. And she's bringing along Dupree with her. She's when this all started, Dupree was maybe not even a thought. I was going to say an afterthought, but maybe not even a thought. And man, she's holding her own. She looks phenomenal. This has been great. I agree with you completely, except maybe not on the underrated thing. I think, if anyone doesn't think Becky Lynch is the top woman right now, maybe.
Well, I'm talking about with this program, it's underrated, right?
Oh, I see. I see what you mean. Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And others may think Becky's stealing a little bit of Chelsea Green's gimmick here, right? Because Chelsea was the Karen, the complainer, the going to the boss, and Becky's doing a little bit of that here. But I think it's done enough. There's enough of the differentiation that it's not quite the same. So, but I get it when people compare. Hey, she's just kind of doing the Chelsea Green thing here.
Yeah,
I feel like there's a lot of people that have kind of done that, like they complain, or is Drew McIntyre not doing that right now?
Yeah. Drew's kind of.
They're doing it right now with him.
Yeah.
It's a different way, but you're talking about very, very on the heels of Chelsea doing it, and Chelsea's still doing it, right? And it's cheap heat. It's a little cheap heat, right? But it's the same as. But Becky going to the socials is what I like.
She just commands when she's talking or what, like she just commands the room. Like,
yeah,
that's
got charisma.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what's been missing for a lot of the wrestlers these days. I feel like.
Yeah, she's definitely one of the 4 horsewomen, and and with Seth being gone, she kind of took a back seat. That's what I mean by underrated. She's not underrated all time, right now in this role.
Yeah.
All right, we go, and she did tap out to the ankle lock with no ref around, and then Dupree breaks it immediately, which I thought was interesting. Like, she's being nice to Becky, she's breaking it with. But anyway, backstage we go again with Pierce trying to recruit Javon Evans, who's a free agent, right? They're really hyping up Javon Evans and his free agency. Is he going to go to Raw? Is he going to go to SmackDown? Where's he going to go? Then he's talking to Evans about it. Evans has got a match with Ryo. And then Vaquera walks up, says she wants a triple threat match next week with Nikki Bella and Raquel Rodriguez. Okay, that's what she wants. And so Pierce says, you got it, right? She's a fighting champion. He loves that about her. Then we go right into the Ryo Americano versus Javon Evans match. This is a luchador-style match. We got a lot of high flying. We got a lot of bounciness. And Evans wins with the OG cutter after interference from the El Grande Americano team. Evans still wins with the OG cutter. Obviously showcasing Javon Evans here. I noticed that Rayo Americano's outfit was straight out of Nacho
Nacho
Libre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was gold and red, not just gold, but it was just reminded me of that. But Javon Evans, obviously, they're really pushing him to the moon, giving him a launching pad at least. And he's a hot free agent now that they both want on SmackDown and Raw.
He looks like Wemby out there. Like, he looks like he's 7 feet tall.
Well,
wrestling
yeah,
these
Luke and I
guys.
had a discussion here. Luke's like, man, what is
Like,
he,
he's
7 feet? I said,
6'1".
no, he's like
He's-
6'2",
He's
because
as tall as I am.
Rayo is so short, he looks
Yeah,
like a giant.
He looks like a giant.
Oh, it's crazy.
And so when you wrestle that luchador style, they put you with the smaller guys a
Yeah.
lot of times, and you look like a giant.
Yeah, it's
But
awesome.
good on Javon Evans. I like Javon, and I think good things are coming. We go backstage and we get probably the weakest interview of the night with AJ Styles and Dragon Lee about the tag match coming up next week, and then we see Punk and Ray just warming up in the hallway or in the back next to some equipment, which these always make me laugh. Right? Why wouldn't you warm up in your locker room or
Yeah.
in an open area, not surrounded
There's
by
like
equipment?
the workers on the tech guys on their laptops behind them. It's like,
It's
what
just-
are you in it? Just wrestling in a cubicle, warming up in a cubicles?
Now, we get into a Bron Breakker recorded promo next on CM Punk. Calls him selfish. He's been talking about which CM Punk will show up, the old best in the world or this new watered down version. He said doesn't matter because he's going to beat him either way, right? He says he hopes Punk has saved his money because after the match he's not going to be worth $1. Little bit of a cheesy line. What'd you think of the Bron Breakker recorded promo as opposed to the live promo?
Actually, this was my least favorite of the three kind of big ones.
I agree. I hated it.
Yeah, the second one was the best one. Then the first one would have been better than this one. And this one was just, I don't know what they were hoping to accomplish here. I think, like you said earlier, you're just trying to figure out what works. I guess you got to try it once to see what the reaction is, to see if people are seeing what you're seeing. There is nothing memorable about this. Memorable, I guess, in that it was bad, but there was nothing here for me. Unlike what you said earlier, I actually do like Bron Breakker, but yeah, this was not good. And again, just like with Theory, I get what you got to try. I get you got to do something, but
yeah,
man, you're hurting them. You're hurting them a lot here, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think that again, he's not the worst on the mic. He just needs development, and they're trying to give him these moments. And some he's done well. Most I don't feel most of the points he's making are a little bit goofy in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a hard critic, just to be honest with you. Plus, I don't like his gimmick anyway. I would, if he's gonna be the badass guy, the bad A guy, I'd rather his last name be Steiner.
Yeah.
And let's just move on because we all know who he is.
I think they need to stop doing these recorded promos. I feel like it's just allowing some of the talent to have an out on, like, I don't have to be as good on the mic like Becky Lynch is, or like they used to do back in the day. Like they had like skits and stuff back in the day that were pre-recorded, but it wasn't like these promos that they're doing now where it's just, I get the new like technology age and stuff, but I just wish they would go back to like, you need to be good on the mic, and then you can do some pre-recorded promos once you kind of prove yourself live on the mic or whatever.
Well,
I think that's part of it.
I mean, it's part of the maturation process, though.
Yeah.
I think you got to think back to when Cena was giving Roman Reigns a hard time, and even before that, you remember the Suffering Succotash promo from Roman Reigns. You remember The Rock writing his promo on his wrist.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's a lot of things that happen that they can overcome and get better at. And this is one thing that Dusty Rhodes was great at when he had the promo school, and that generation of before Dusty passed away, with the Charlottes and the Seth Rollins and the Roman Reigns, learning under Dusty helped them with their promo skills. Now I don't know who's teaching the promo.
It needs to be Becky Lynch. It needs to be
right
her.
now, but we do have to cut these kids some slack, I guess, and they're just kind of putting them in situations and see how they'll react. I do think you do need a change up from an interview and a promo. So recorded promos, like when they did the recorded promos with Black and Vega and Priest and Rhea, I thought those were okay, right?
Yeah.
Uncle Howdy's good on a pre-recorded promo. he's terrible live. Like that goes to your point,
Right.
Luke.
So the some of the promos that you're talking about are like those people are they not good other than Uncle Howdy? Like
they've proven themselves.
are they? Yeah, they've proven themselves. So I'm fine with that being they can have those promos. They kind of like earn the right to do the promos and do that cool stuff because they've proven themselves to be good on the mic live or whatever.
Yeah, I mean Cena was terrible when he started, right?
Yeah.
Not terrible, but like even you look at some of his OVW stuff where he's the prototype, and you look at just some of his early stuff before he went into the Doctor of Thugonomics. So it just takes a maturation process. It's comfortable, and he said this in the interview with failing on camera. You have to be comfortable with doing that, right?
But do you think they're allowing Braun to fail by just kind of giving him?
I think they're giving him the opportunity, and it's up to him whether he knocks it out of the park, does okay, or fails. And in some of these, I think he has failed.
Yeah.
Right.
But not catastrophically, not devastatingly. It's not the suffering succotash promo that Roman Reigns delivered, which might be one of the worst promos behind Steiner Math. That was great, and that might be Braun's best promo was when he revisited the Steiner Math.
Yeah.
But anyway, we move on to Nikki Bella with a heel promo live. I like her new look. She got a lot of cheap heat with her disrespecting the city, the crowd. She's the legend. She's the star of the show. She's a big deal everywhere, and Vaquera's not. She's not fit to hold that title, and she's going to end Vaquera's reign next week. A nice, cheap heat heel promo from Nikki Bella. Nothing earth-shattering, but I like the direction they're taking her with her look, and I think that she's coming around to this heel persona.
Yeah, I think it's
your thoughts.
It's a better package for the same old thing. And I think you've got to try and reinvent at least to some degree. I still don't love that and I figured they would go triple threat. It does make sense. But my hope would be that Raquel is the one that comes out looking better for this, because I think Vaquera is just riding this high right now that she can probably do no wrong, or do very little wrong anyway. And it's just not going to help. It's not going to help Nikki, whereas Raquel's the one in that weird spot where even in loss, she can come out of this looking really strong, probably giving a receipt or two based on some of the things that we've seen happen to her specifically. So I think there's a potential here to really elevate Raquel in this position. And if Nikki keeps going this way, just like I said earlier with Becky, even though we're just repackaging and reinventing what Nikki's doing, she has the potential to really help both Stephanie a little bit more, but really Raquel more to the point.
Yeah, I agree. And this leads us into a Bayley versus Roxanne Perez match, and I think kind of foreshadowing what we're going to get with that triple threat match next week with Judgment Day Chaos. We got Bayley versus Roxanne Perez. Lyra comes out with Bayley. Liv comes out with Roxanne. Raquel shows up, somewhere in the match, halfway through the match. Lyra, Raquel, and Liv get into outside shenanigans, as you say. Liv's interfering. Then for some reason, Raquel's talking to the ref while Roxanne is...
Makes no sense. You can't even explain that.
I don't know. But before that, Liv is interfering while Roxanne undoes the turnbuckle. Bayley then hits her head on it, of course. And then we get the spot where Lyra has to slap Bayley to wake her up to what's going on. Hey, you got to wake up, get yourself fired up. And then Bayley goes off, right? We got the chaotic shenanigans from Judgment Day. We got Bayley hits the flying elbow for the win. And the Judgment Day ladies are not on the same page. And Liv's blaming Raquel for causing interference. And Raquel is saying Liv shouldn't be out there. We got all this back and forth. We go backstage. We got Theory and Bronson Reed trying to get on the same page before their match, saying, hey, you follow my lead, kid. That's what Bronson said, which I thought was interesting. And then Theory goes, no, you follow my lead. And so let's get on the same page. And then Judgment Day Chaos backstage. Family's breaking down. Communication's breaking down. The guys are trying to play video games while the women are fighting. That sounds like a very familiar scenario. I thought it was hilarious, but obviously foreshadowing for what's to come. I like the Judgment Day chaos. It's time for the Judgment Day to go away,
Yep.
I think. Finn and JD just not doing it. Luke said something while we were watching this. They need to bring Finn Balor's demon
Yeah.
gimmick back.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
It was so awesome.
The iconic music, the iconic get up.
Yeah.
I'm a
man.
fan of those kind of things though. Like I love the Boogeyman is awesome. Like as a kid, I don't know. I like that stuff. Like I know
Yeah.
some people are like, oh, it's too cheesy, but I'd rather have that stuff than like the meathead guys that
Yeah.
just yell on the mic. Like I'd rather have those kind of
The character. Yeah.
I like more artsy stuff. So I guess with the face paint, the Jeff Hardy's my favorite.
Yeah.
All that stuff is awesome. But
Yeah, and I
that's
think
just
that
me.
maybe they'll take it that way when they break up
Yeah.
the Judgment Day. It's just time for that. Dom has become the star.
Mhm.
Dom and Liv. Rhea's already on her own. Priest, they're not sure what to do with. So maybe they got them together because they don't know what to do with them. But obviously, I think there is some breakup imminent. So they've teased it with the guys. Now it's with the women. We get the Gunther promo. It's the same stuff he said last week. Basically, I made John Cena tap out. You should be mad at him, not me. He gave up. I'll be forever remembered as the guy that made him tap and quit. Then CM Punk's music hits, and he walks with some purpose to the ring and just stares down Gunther. And then Gunther walks out the ring and gives him the "You can't see me" deal. Then Mysterio's music hits, and he stares down and has some words with Gunther.
He stares up.
Stares up, yeah, not down. As Gunther stares down at him while he's walking to the back. And then we get another encounter with Gunther and AJ Styles. And this was the funniest part of the whole thing is when AJ goes, "You don't know when to shut up, do you?" And then Gunther just smiles and goes, "Guess I don't," and then walks out cocky. I thought that was great.
That's how he laughs.
Oh, okay. I thought you were having a seizure over there.
Nope.
All right.
I'm good.
And then we get Punk and Ray, Mysterio versus Theory and Reed. This match was the only purpose of this match was Theory's audition with the Vision. Is he going to be part of the winning solution and part of the team? Obviously, it's a good match, but Theory hits the stomp on Ray for the win as they fight outside the ring, Bronson and Punk. Did Theory prove his worth to the Vision? Looks like it. That's what they're kind of hyping up as the match goes off the air. Before that, Breakker comes out, attacks Punk, hits him with the spear, and we go off the air on the Raw, the pre-recorded Raw. I think I feel like this about this, maybe slightly better than SmackDown, but not much better.
Yeah.
Again, it's pre-recorded. All these spoilers were leaked. We don't like to look at spoilers. We want to be, in prisoners of the moment when we're watching it. So those were the results. The show was okay, average, C plus, B minus. Slightly better than SmackDown, I believe, in my mind.
I think it was better than SmackDown, but yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, same. I mean, I don't think it's I think the problem is the bar has just kind of been set at a middle level, right? So saying it's better than SmackDown, like what are we really saying in that? And also I will say the card from start to finish is consistently better, Raw versus SmackDown, particularly this week. But I don't know which of these main events I care more about than Cody and Drew. So I think that the top storyline or the top angle on SmackDown is better. For me, the one takeaway that I would have from Raw, the thing that I felt like I wanted more of was Becky and Dupree. I don't know if that's a good thing. I mean, I don't, I obviously they want us to care mostly about the Vision stuff.
Yeah, Punk and Breakker.
Yeah. And I don't know that I do.
Yeah, if you had me guess or say you want CM Punk Breakker, what's more compelling, or Cody and Drew? Give me Cody and Drew right now.
Right. Yeah. So.
Well, just the history there too.
Right.
That counts for a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Between them two.
But yeah, not bad.
Yeah, and I mean, do you think they're gonna let Breakker beat CM Punk?
I hope not.
I did for a long time. For a long time, I thought we were just kind of waiting to anoint Breakker. Now I'm not so sure. I really don't know that he's ready. I don't think the group is ready to have the title. And I am much more compelled by Punk Gunther than I would be Breaker Gunther. Because if you have Breaker go over on Punk, either you're gonna do it again, or you've got to put Breaker into another angle. And who in the world is he gonna?
That's right.
Who's he gonna do that with? Like, so
Yeah, I mean, LA Knight's off the show for a while.
Rhea
right?
Ripley and Breaker. That's my vote.
So I think
I think she could handle it.
Yeah.
I thought for a while that they would put the strap on Breaker and take it off of Punk. And now that this has played out the way that it has, I actually think they're going to keep it on Punk.
Well, I want to get to my theory here.
Yep.
And this may play into what happens with the world title. I'm not sure. I believe that Austin Theory is a Seth Rollins plant put inside Vision to blow it up from the inside. That's my theory. I think he's doing the moves. He's talking about he has his own vision. He dressed up in the Shield-like pants.
Oh yeah.
Or some were saying Braun Strowman-like pants.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of hints doing the stomp, doing some of these moves. I think what we're going to find out in this long-term storytelling is that Austin Theory is actually working for Seth Rollins, and he's infiltrated the enemy, Trojan horse style, old school wrestling, angle or storyline, and he's going to be wrecking things up for Seth Rollins when Seth Rollins comes back. Now, could there be somebody else with them? There could be, which, if you go back and look at the Masked Men, there's no way all three of those were the same person.
I swear one was Randy Orton.
One looked exactly like Randy Orton.
Literally.
And it could be, that could be a guy that shows up.
Yeah.
But I really feel strongly that this is going to play out, that Theory is working with Seth Rollins, and he's going to break him up from within. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I don't hate that. And just hearing the Orton angle, like if Theory's a plant, and so then Rollins is, 1A or 1B if Orton is coming back. I think having Theory be with well-established wrestlers does way more for Theory. So I hope that's true for Theory, because I actually like Austin Theory.
Yeah.
I've always liked Austin Theory. I thought the whole McMahon rub thing kind of sucked that happened to him. So I like it on paper. Like on paper, that makes a lot of sense. And if it's Rollins and Orton.
Well, let me add this.
Yeah.
Go back about 6 years ago, I believe Rollins and Theory were working together on some sort of way. I've seemed like I recall that. We need to look that up. But if I remember right, Theory had a buzz cut similar to what he has now back when he was with Seth Rollins. So that could be a callback.
Yeah.
I really believe strongly in this, and this is not like, oh, Jeff's a genius. I'm sure other wrestling fans have put these dots together as well. I think long term that would make the most sense. With Seth being injured and they have the Vision turn on him so quickly, that didn't make a whole lot of sense. And now the push with Bron Breakker, I'm not sure how Logan Paul fits into all this. But that's what I want to see. I want to see this be a Trojan horse style angle with Austin Theory.
2020 Alliance.
2020 Alliance?
Allied with Seth Rollins as part of his Monday Night Messiah.
Oh, that's right. That's what it was.
That's right.
It was short-lived. Yeah. It was short-lived.
Yeah. So maybe that's what could be sticking in my mind.
Yeah.
It obviously is. So anyway, that's where I think this Theory thing is going to go, and maybe there's something that happens with the world title match where, Theory was trying to hit Punk, and something happens with Breaker, and that's why Punk retains. Something to that effect, where we start to see a little bit of a crack. He's like, whoa, I'm just trying to help you, and we don't really know if he is trying to help him or not. Those kinds of old school things come back into play. I don't know, because there's been so many swerves with this Vision thing and this Paul Heyman thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if we could stand one more, but I think I would like this, especially if it's more of a long-term story. with subtle things that happen along the way. Anyway, that's my theory.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think there's a lot of potential there. I think it makes a lot of sense. And more than anything, I like it for theory. So chalk me up for
Yeah.
hoping it happens.
A couple other things we want to talk about before we get to the Cena interview is we talked earlier. Do you think a Cody heel turn is imminent? Do you feel like it's going to happen, or do you feel like they're just playing with us a little bit?
I want it to happen so badly, but I do think they're just playing with us. I don't think, and I think for no reason other than there's not enough baby faces on the roster to be able to withstand having him to go heel. Reigns and Punk. I mean, the Usos are basically. I mean, they're not. Jimmy or Jay's not a main event. Clearly, he's not going to be in the main event anymore. Same thing with like AJ Styles. Like he won't be in the main event anymore. So like all the faces that you can look around the company at, they're obviously mid-tier guys. Your best workers right now, your best main event talent are essentially all heels. The only one that I think is walking the line where you can maybe turn them face and maybe do something with them would be Dom. But that's probably not enough to justify a Cody heel turn. So I hope they do, but I don't think they will.
Yeah, I don't think it's imminent. I think they're planting seeds for down the road.
Yeah.
That hey, maybe Drew's really wearing Cody down, but he's gonna put it back together, and fight off the dark side, if you will, for another time. But you mentioned Dom, and I think we saw reports that Dom was injured at AAA in the tag team match, taking a DDT. They say he's maybe have a separated shoulder.
Right.
Not sure how much time he's out.
It's pending formal medical evaluation. Not sure when he's getting that, but
well, that would be devastating if he's missing time because he's one of the best things going for WWE right now.
Yep.
He's inspired Luke's look today, and
well, I mean, yeah,
I'm surprised you didn't shave your beard and just have the mustache.
No, I'm not allowed to.
What do you mean you're not allowed to?
Just not.
Don't
when
you
you
wear
get
the
married,
pants in your
that's
family?
what happens. When
Don't
you get married,
say, look here, I decide what's on my face.
Yeah.
How's that work for you, Nick?
No, it doesn't. Don't do it.
No, it doesn't.
He's setting you up.
every now and then again, I have a shaving accident where I cut too short or whatever, and I have to shave the thing off.
Yeah.
And then it's like nobody recognizes me. My wife hates it. I think she hates me anyway. But the point is that it's not a good look for me being clean shaven.
Yeah, I think.
I don't really like it, to be honest. I like having a little bit of something. I don't know.
You don't like being clean shaven?
Nah, because I don't know.
Yeah.
I like the face coverage, I guess.
Well, anyway, you're still rocking the Dom look, so hopefully he's back soon and he's not injured terribly. I mean, we remember Emmett Smith playing with the separated shoulder in a game, right?
Yeah.
For the division.
Well,
toughen up, Dom.
T.O. played on a broken leg.
Yeah, he did.
Well, here's the other thing I would say.
Come on, Dom, toughen up, buddy.
Like, I think the other thing for Dom specifically, because he can pull this off, a la Steve Austin, when you have one of those kind of major injuries where you can't wrestle, but you can still appear, there's a chance that time can continue to elevate. Like, he doesn't need to be in the ring. Like, he's, if he's not forced to not make appearances and to still do something with, I'm not giving up the title, I'm still here, you're not going to take it from me sort of thing. Like, he can be,
they can still use him
100%. Like, and I hope that if that is what happens, if he does have the separated shoulder that requires surgery to where it's not just a few week type thing, I hope that they don't keep him off TV, because I think right now he is really at a pivotal point for what will be eventually the rocket ship to the top, because clearly that's where he's headed. The dude is just incredible on every level.
Yeah. Well, and all signs are, point to this being an actual injury and not a work.
Yeah.
So you never know with the WWE. We had the Seth Rollins thing, and then he actually got hurt. But you never do know. But in this situation, it looks like he just faked a shoulder injury a few weeks ago. Remember when he was faking that injury?
Yeah.
With Cena, and then now he's hurt legitimately, we believe.
Yeah.
So
faking an injury.
Get well soon, Dom. Luke sends Luke sends his best wishes to you.
Yeah, my brother from another father,
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know who his father
We don't
is.
know. Could it be Eddie? Could it be Ray?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into the Cena Cody interview. And that's probably all we have time left for today, but we'll get into this right now. My first impression, well, I'm glad he did Cody's show first. I think that's a very good nod. Those two have a very close bond. I didn't realize how close until Cody got emotional and talked
Yeah.
after the match, talking about, John Cena taught him a lot and he really looks up to him. But it was like two aristocrats talking, two politicians, two lawyers. And it's funny because if you remember just not too long ago, people made fun of you for watching wrestling or being a wrestler. It wasn't a dignified career, right? And then all of a sudden now these guys are in these awesome looking suits. I mean, Cena's looks like he's Santa Claus's, son with this holiday suit that he's wearing with the red pants or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And they just look so sophisticated and it's kind of smug, it was a little bit boring to start, right? But that was my first impression is like, man, are these guys gonna just sit here and love fest on each other the whole interview? I'll get into a couple takeaways for me and then I'll let you tell me what you thought.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that he talked about the match with Gunther and, comparing it to somebody dying or on their deathbed, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. And the last, he's filled with joy in the match. The last 5 minutes, they was just a sleeper hold, right? And they're just having a conversation. He's trying to show this struggle. You're trying to hold on and say goodbye to everybody you love. And then you take your last breath, and that's what he said by tapping out. That's why he had the smile. That's why he tapped out. He thought it was going peacefully, and he thought it was beautiful. And one thing he said that I think is true is that he said, man, we put art out there, and it's up for the public to interpret it, and they can be super critical. They can take it whatever the way they want, but this is the intention behind the art, and a lot of times the artist, what he painted it and the reason he painted for it is not the way that the public interprets it. And I thought that was a really good, sophisticated look at what they do.
Yeah.
Just do you have anything to say about that part? Because I really thought that was pretty poetic, honestly.
Yeah, it's John Cena doing what honestly he does probably best at this stage of his career, which is just absolute full circle storytelling. Even the stuff that didn't work, and he touched on that a little bit, but even the stuff that didn't work, I think what he has done and what he's managed to become at this stage in his career is just somebody that can so eloquently tie it all in together after the fact and through word. That in hindsight, you can kind of look back and have a different perspective. And I think that's something else that's kind of really cool about this. And I went back and watched the match after listening to Cena. And when you do that, it almost is a different match, which is really, really cool. Like if you really go back and watch the match now, having listened to the Cena Rhodes podcast, and then go watch the match again, and it's a different match. It really does strike you differently. And I will also encourage you to mute the sound because the audience at that night really, really heard clearly the story. And I think there was always some thought that this could be what Cena wanted and this was the angle that they were going for, but the crowd was into it in such a way that took away from that. So I really love the obituary deathbed kind of motif.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. And again, to me, makes the match. It was already a good match. It did what it was supposed to do, but I think the podcast actually really elevated it if you go back and watch it again.
Yeah, and I think when he Cody talks about facing death with a smile, and then Cena said, yeah, like Obi-Wan Kenobi in the first Star Wars when he just lets Darth Vader kill him right in front of Luke because he knows that's going to inspire the next generation of Jedi.
Yoda
right?
kind of did it too.
Yeah, Yoda.
Yoda came to peace, came to terms with it.
But he died of old age, so it wasn't like he sacrificed himself or anything like that. Like Obi-Wan just said, hey,
put a saber down.
Strike me down, I'll be stronger than you ever imagined, right? That's my point in comparing it to what John Cena's saying here, is that, and he said the whole year was like the life cycle or the person facing the end of their life. They're like, hey, this is what's important to me. I'll do anything to get this. And then when I have this, I realize, hey, this is not me. That didn't really satisfy me. It's about the relationships. And then we go through this journey about the people that he's faced throughout his career, and we get Randy Orton, we get CM Punk, we get AJ Styles, we get all these matches. We got some with the new guys, because now that I've been through this, I want to pass on wisdom to the people before I die. I thought it was beautiful, man, the
Yeah.
way he talked about it. And it's like you said, an artist, if you hear an artist and their inspiration behind a painting, and then you go look at a painting, you'll look at it differently.
Yep.
And I think this is what he just did for us, was like, let me tell you the story behind this, and now maybe you'll see it differently. And once you become conscious of something, you can't become unconscious of it.
Yep.
And so I will go back and watch the match now. I like that. I like that you said that. A couple other things that I wanted to point out in the interview. He does bring up the stuff with The Rock. He talks about they wanted a big moment in February, and the heel turn was the big moment, right? And he says creative constantly changes all the time. They brought up many different times that it's changed over the years, and Cody's experienced this himself with The Rock, right? The Rock and Travis Scott changed, and he didn't really say, but he alluded to, hey, maybe somebody's not available. Hey, maybe somebody didn't want to do it. Hey, maybe whatever it is, but they had to pivot, and so they pivoted into this abusive relationship with the crowd, and then, hey, I really want this thing, and I'll do anything to get it, which was the heel turn, right? And all that stuff playing into that, like, take The Rock away. But he did say something interesting. He says, if The Rock was there and available until August, we would have missed out on all these things he just laid out with this journey about his life, or somebody's life when they die, talking about, hey, I'm ambitious. I want this. I want this more than anything. I may be willing to do dirty things to get it, right? Or criminal things or evil things. Then when I do that, I realize it's not me. I change my ways. It's about relationships. It's about people. Let me pass on what I know for legacy, and then let me take my final breath. So I thought it was a pretty good pivot, and when you look at it in that perspective, it changes the whole storyline for sure.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that it can do for a legacy that didn't need any more to it, right? Any more complexity, any more adversity, any more of the things that he went through as essentially the top guy for 20 years. But what it really does do is it allows you again to realize that a lot of what happens around Cena is always, up until the last probably month or two, where people just appreciated him, and then everything was gone, and it was just the appreciation for John Cena. But up until that point, everything he had done was always, let's go Cena, Cena sucks. It always is always met with that. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what would have, the Rock and Travis Scott thing could have gone perfectly, however they planned it. And you likely still would have gotten the people being like, oh, this sucks. It's not good. So I think him, again, just kind of so calmly taking you behind the scenes of his psyche and what he's thinking as he's going through this. Man, it for me, the psychology of the business is always the thing, and we've talked about this many times before. It's what keeps me. It's what keeps me coming back. And to see somebody at that level break it down in that way, it's whatever. Like I said, he doesn't need any more added to the legacy that is so wonderful. But it just the IQ and how he processes it, such an intelligent process, man, and so cool to see what that mentality looks like from a top guy at that for so long.
Well, and he talked about a couple other things that were really awesome when he talked about getting with young talent so they can hear the noise and feel what it's like at that level. And once you hear it and feel it at that level, you're going to chase it your whole career, right? And I thought that was a really great discussion. The live events discussion I thought was really good, with Cody saying, "Hey, we missed these live events," and John's like, I don't think so, because now every time the TV camera on, that's your live event, and where you thought you had this safety net of these live events that aren't on TV to try new things and fail, right? Now you have to do that on live TV in front of a crowd. Don't be afraid to fail there. I thought that was really good stuff.
Yep.
He then pivoted and talked about his favorite moment in his career, and he said something unusual. He talked about CM Punk
Yeah.
in
Phil
Saudi
Brooks.
Arabia,
Yeah.
the pre-show and the promo where previously CM Punk had said some derogatory things about Saudi Arabia and going there and the culture, and now CM Punk finds himself going to Saudi Arabia, where the crowd is not happy with him, and he talked about Punk, apologizing and asking for forgiveness, and the crowd forgiving him, and how that really touched John Cena, and that was his most favorite moment in his whole wrestling career, which I thought was interesting, right? What do you think about that? Anything to add there?
I think in as you listen to all of this and as you kind of think about what Cena has represented for so long, I immediately, like I'm sure everybody did, paused the podcast and went and found, because I hadn't seen it. He was right
Yeah.
when he said it got buried. It's a pre-show. A lot of people probably weren't even aware of it. That's 100% true. I remember that show very well, actually. I don't remember that at all. And so the clip that I watched on YouTube actually had CM Punk's original tweet, the retweet, or whoever tweeted at him, and then his tweet back. I think it was the Miz. I forget who it was exactly. And then went into the whole thing where he comes out and they're just booing him, and you can hear the guy through the camera trying to get Punk's attention. And so anyway, so as he's kind of talking you through it, and you're kind of like, okay, what makes this such a great moment? Other than the obvious, it's the immediate transition from "shut the f up" as a crowd chant to asking the guy's name in a genuine, sincere apology, and an immediate roar of applause of like this unified forgiveness that, it's almost like they didn't expect him to apologize. Like they were saying it even as he was talking about it, like, you're not going to apologize. And I'm certain Cena is looking at that, and through all of his career, it's like, you want a reaction, just give me something, don't be quiet.
Right.
And to be able to just keep them in the palm of your hands like that, like that's got to be a high that cannot be duplicated, and it's got to be probably so difficult to get over once you're out of it. Football, basketball, all these other sports, it's a team, and you're so kind of covered up with everything, and it's in and out. And in wrestling, man, that's such a unique experience. And I thought just him taking us through that probably led a lot of people into a scene and to something that happened that we were totally unaware of. I was.
Yeah, and I remember this whole issue, but kudos to CM Punk for taking the opportunity and doing the right thing.
Yep.
And one thing that I did discover this year is that CM Punk and John Cena are friends. They don't hate each other like most people thought, right? And they've said a lot of stuff about each other over the years, but it sounds like they've kind of worked through that. And I forgot to mention one other thing about the Rock and the creative and how it changes. He said something very insightful here. He goes, "The crowd accepts when creative has to change because of an injury. They know, oh, our story was heading this way, but because of an injury, it's abrupt, it changes, and the crowd accepts that. But that's the only reason. They don't accept it if there's other reasons. And I
Yeah.
think he even brought up a mental injury or emotional injury, or they're not available.
Yeah.
It's just things change, right? So I thought that was an interesting point. And then he talks about the differences between him and Gunther's perspective about how they view wrestling, very respectfully. He's like, "Hey, Gunther's a ring general. This mat is sacred." He said, "It is to me too. I just see it differently." Right. And then they wrapped up with, "Did you leave it better than you found it?" I thought this was a good question.
Yep.
From Cody to John, and John talks about how the opportunities have gotten bigger, the money's more, the visibilities, the giant partnerships that they're now. Obviously, they're owned by TKO instead of Vince McMahon, so economically the stock price is doing much better. But he talks about reach and engagement, and that the number of fans and the kinds of fans they have is so different than it was 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago. And I thought it was a good way to end the show because John Cena is about business. And you could tell through this that excellence matters to him in everything. And I can relate to that as a guy who sometimes comes across as judgmental and pushing and nothing's ever good enough. It sounds like he can come off that way, and he kind of did on the Diva show a little bit. But overall, I thought it was a good interview. Once you get past the love fest and these two aristocrats smoking cigars and drinking liquor, I thought it was pretty good. But it took us a while to get there. But all in all, I thought it was worth the listen and
Yeah,
watch.
I agree completely. I think the little bit of emotion at Cody at the end there it felt genuine, it felt sincere. Um, I think the John Cena ability to connect on in any forum with any audience, um, albeit just a little bit with a little bit of patience here, because I agree with you. It took a second to get going here. Um, but what I'll take away from it and what I'll remember is his ability to connect with an audience. And it's again, like I said, his legacy needs no embellishing. It needs nothing added to it. But if you ever had any questions, if you were ever curious about what does John Cena represent to pro wrestling and its evolution and its ability to
And
rise
sports entertainment.
and sports entertainment, oh certainly, of course, sports entertainment. Um, this encapsulated all of it, and it was for me very, very well done. This is one of those, and I'm a huge mark for rewatching documentaries. I've seen a lot of the
Yeah.
same documentaries over and over and over again because I'm just so interested in it. This is one of those that I will definitely just throw on to listen to two dudes that are masters at their craft just speak on it over and over again.
Yeah, and one thing we forget about is it's really hard to be a baby face for a long period of
Yeah.
time. Because people, they get bored with that.
Mhm.
And if they're not chasing the title, which is the reason he had to win 17 times, because you want the face chasing,
Yeah.
right? And this is the problem they're going to have with Cody Rhodes. But I think as a person who, before this interview, was not a fan of John Cena, does it change your mind on him? And looking back and listening to him talk about his career, which he really hasn't done in detail, do you think you're a bigger fan of John Cena now that you've seen this interview, or the same?
I'm a bigger fan of the man.
Yeah.
Certainly. The character still don't love him. Like I'll still go and so much through. It's almost like I was part of the crowd that no matter what he did was always going to chant Cena sucks. Like I just
Yeah.
couldn't at a certain point, and it was probably mostly because man, this guy, you went from The Rock in Austin to Cena. And it's just,
Yeah.
it was that, and The Rock had that great promo. How do we go from the iconic Austin 316 to if you smell what The Rock is cooking to you can't see me and playing peekaboo and all that. And that was just such a great squash promo, very early on or not early, but very for me.
Yeah.
For me, it was early into realizing that Cena was not them, I guess. But so
Yeah.
to answer your question, as for the man, the Make-A-Wish stuff and all the stuff that he does charitably wise, all the respect in the world. And I don't know if this really elevated that because I had all the respect in the world for the man. It's the wrestler and the
Yeah.
character that sports entertainer. I don't like the jorts, man. Can't do it.
Hey, man, you hate jorts. We were gonna do sports in jorts, man, and you dissed that.
Yeah, thanks,
You
thanks,
pushed
Tina.
that away,
Yeah,
and you made me not be able to live my dream in sports in jorts.
you can do it.
Well, listen, I've had a lot of fun talking
Yeah.
WWE. The next big show is the Netflix anniversary. We probably won't have a show next week for the holidays because there's not a lot to talk about this time of year.
Yep.
And if that changes between now and then, we may put a show together. But if not, we'll be on after the January 5th Raw. So to you and yours, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Thank you for being a part of WWE episode number 5. Please like, subscribe, share. I just spit. Did you see that? Hopefully the camera got that. Spit just flew. And I don't usually spit when I talk. So anyway,
Maybe not.
you're in the splash zone, Luke. Watch out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, interact, comment. WWE episode 5 in the books. Thank you for being a part of this one. Until next time, Happy New Year. Peace.